and stuff, and I never heard you talk specifically about some of the other people who are credited with the whole rock opera, either
Yeah.
monstrosity or successful piece of theater. It can be either or. Like, did you ever? What do you think about Pete Townshend's manipulation of that form, like with
I
Quadrophenia,
love Pete.
Tommy?
I love Pete, and and I have no doubt that it's all very sincere.
Yeah,
Quadrophenia, I'm talking about specifically,
yeah,
obviously. Do I know it sort of word for word? No, I don't. The whole kind of mods and rockers thing slightly passed me by because I was neither a mod nor a rocker,
yeah,
and I didn't really care. Tommy is a fascinating piece of work, I think. I actually liked who was the guy who made the film of it? The
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, who that great film director whose name I can't remember, but
Yeah.
um, no, so I have a huge amount of time for Pete Townshend and all the work he did in theatricalizing his bit of rock and roll,
Right.
and it was a very important bit. And I think many of the songs are really great, and our paths used to cross on the road as well. I
Yeah.
can remember having swimming relay races on in Dearborn, Michigan, against them and their crew back in, back in like 1968 or something like that, when I find myself in times of trouble. There's a bit in the memoir which is interesting because well, you'll have to wait and see, but it's just, I'll tell you, it's only an anecdote, but it's
Yeah.
about being in the south of France, the first gig that they did, or very nearly the first gig after Keith died. Was in the amphitheatre in Fréjus, and I was living in the south of France, or I was on I can't remember, but I was there, and I was there with Eric Idle from Monty Python and
Yeah.
Tanya, his gorgeous wife, and blah blah blah. Anyway, the gig was all right. I forget all names always all the time, so I can't remember who the drummer was now, but everybody does know, and he certainly remembers because he's a bit of a narcissist, this new drummer. Anyway, and Rabbit was playing keyboards in the band, which he did. He played a lot of keyboard stuff for them. Anyway, after the gig, I'm standing around me and whoever I was married to at the time, and yeah, and Eric and Nick Mason and whatever. And Pete came out of his caravan with a bottle of Remy Martin hanging from one lanky arm and wandered towards us. And he was well cut by this time. And he walked up and he had a word with Eric because Eric Idle was a well known star fucker, really obnoxiously so. And so Townsend came up and he said to him, "Fuck me." He said, "Hey, boy, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit. Couldn't you find a Rolling Stone or a Beatle or somebody important?
Yeah.
Pink fucking Floyd." And he went on and on. Out there, and I was laughing. I loved it. And Eric Idle, right, was listening to all this, and when Pete paused for a moment, Eric sort of did that, and he looked at him and he went, "At least they keep their drummers alive."
Ah.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but Pete didn't go ah ha ha. He
Oh my God.
it stopped him
Yeah.
absolutely in his track. He spun round and he walked off with his bottle of Remy back into his caravan and shut the door.
Yeah. That is rough. My
It's a hell of a story,
God.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to leave it in because Eric's so fucking old now that I don't think he'll give a fuck. And
Yeah. No, you got to leave that stuff in.
that's a lot. Yeah, you got to leave a few little bits of spice in there for people who might be interested in the gossip. I sort of loved Joni Mitchell until she decided to be a jazzer, and then I went nah.
Yeah.
But I did go and I sought her out at one point, maybe when I was 27, 28, 29 years, something like that. And I suppose so was she. I bet she's about my age because everybody fancied her,
Yeah.
in my generation because she was gorgeous. And also she wrote Clouds, and
Yeah.
Paved Paradise and all that. So
Yeah.
there was there was a moment in and around whatever that festival was called in North America. And she did have a beautiful voice, and she is very talented, and she did go on smoking cigarettes, and she was a painter, and
Yeah, the
blah,
register
and
is
she did
lower,
have a
but-
thing for bass players, as I recall.
Oh,
It never, never developed into anything, but, who knows? You never know.